Welcome to the Shower Epiphanies podcast, where we explore your hidden thoughts and desires, revealing your greatest drop the mic moments. Now, here's your host, Art Costello.
Welcome to the Shower Epiphanies podcast. Today, I am really honored to have Carl Hunter with us. He is the founder of Mind Flavors. You know, most people have a hard time tuning out of the mind chatter and staying focused long enough to be effective in today's fast-paced world. Carl's new invention solves this faster than anything, which I find very intriguing, and it's called Mind Flavors. Mind Flavors is a visual technology that creates new neutral pathways to your brain in only 4 minutes, boosting your ability to easily focus and manifest. Most people feel a powerful shift occur in their brain for the very first time they watch a 4-minute Mind Flavors life-changing video. They also notice how things rapidly begin changing in their lives because they have a new ability to focus and quickly manifest with ease. Welcome to the show, Carl. This ought to be great. I can't wait to get into this.
Well, thank you, Art. It's great to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Can you tell us your story, where you come from, where you started? Take us through a progression of how it's all happened for you.
Sure. You know, when I was growing up, I was pretty fortunate. I was pretty coordinated as a young boy, and I grew up in my family where we had a trampoline my whole life. So that really helped a lot with my personal coordination and my self-confidence. So I really had a good solid foundation to start with. But when I got into my adult years, when I started to get into business, a lot of things showed up in my life that were letting me know that I had some areas to work on, let's say. And in the beginning, my business was going well, and then things kind of started falling apart, and it caused me to go inward. It really wasn't just in my business. It was showing up everywhere in my life, and it caused me to do some looking inward. And I realized I had to figure this out, because what I knew was I could hammer things into place in the physical world. I was good at doing that, but it was exhausting, and things would ultimately require constant maintenance to keep them together. So I really started searching for a better way, and that was kind of the beginning of my journey.
When you talk about hammering things in and going deep inside yourself, that's something that I think a lot of people try to do but have a hard time doing. What was your catalyst for being able to really get inside of who Carl Hunter is?
Well, at first, I was really searching, and I came across some information that kind of opened the door, so to speak, to the idea of programming my subconscious mind. What I found out was that the majority of how I experienced the world was 100% based on what my subconscious programming was. So what I mean by that is, between birth and the age of reason, when we're developing, those are the impressionable years when we're developing our subconscious belief structure, let's call it.
What age would you say that is?
I would say roughly about 8 years old, and it's going to vary from person to person, but roughly around 8 years old. You know how children they're kind of like in a hypnotic state for those first few years of their lives, and all of us. And then we reach that age of reason where we start making the connections. If I do this, that's what the outcome's going to be. And that's where, at that point, our subconscious, that blueprint, that belief structure is pretty much set in place. And then everything that we experience from our lives from that point forward goes through the filter of that belief structure. So if we have decided at that point, let's say, just as an example, maybe a little child, maybe so young a person doesn't even remember, maybe they were attempting to get a person's attention and they didn't get that attention. Well, they may have decided at that point that people don't listen to them. Now, that might seem like a little thing, but it's a very subtle level. As children like that, we're not interpreting things in words, we're interpreting in feelings and impressions. So if we get the feeling or the impression that that's the way it is, and that feeling gets embedded into our blueprint, and that blueprint is what determines how we outwardly live our lives, because we're constantly broadcasting from the inside out. And most of our communication is below the level of consciousness. So what we're communicating is all of those beliefs that are in the subconscious. And those beliefs pretty much stay the same for most people unless they really do something profound to get past that barrier that is a filter it's a protective mechanism, and it blocks any change in the subconscious. So that's what I've spent the last 32 years working on, is finding better ways to get through to the subconscious and retrain it to be in alignment with what I choose to experience today, rather than interpretations of childhood that could have been completely distorted.
Well, I'm going to throw a curve at you.
Sure.
I don't know how much you know about my history and my background, but at 9 years old, I went to a mountaintop because I had been abandoned and had really no stimulus that was really creating any kind of positives in my life. And I laid on my back and I had a conversation with God and asked him what was going to become of me. And after making that journey many times, I heard this voice that just said, just be, and just be the best you can be, and everything will work out. That became my belief system. That was at 9 years old. And I find it so interesting what you're saying, because that has stayed with me my entire life. It has been my mantra. It is what I live by. It has become my core integrity, value, and all of that. Was I digging into my subconscious?
Well, you bring up a great point, and that is there are a number of different ways, and the answer is yes. Before you even ask the question, the answer is yes. There are a number of different ways that we can influence our subconscious mind, and one of them is in a point of peak, heightened, intense emotion, or it can happen during trauma, it can happen during intense situations or life-changing situations. Now, generally, those can be more difficult beliefs that get attached, more, trauma-type beliefs. However, in your case, because I've heard your story before, and if I'm understanding correctly, what you got was inspiration. You got a communication with the divine, and you got inspiration. And that's a profound experience, and I would put it into a similar category as far as it comes to influencing the subconscious. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. And I've believed it ever since I was little, what you're saying. I just had never heard it professed the way that you have put it forward. And it makes total sense to me, because I know. And I happen to be of the belief that, I've always wondered why it takes sometimes trauma or events that are life-altering to actually bring our consciousness to the level where we'll do something, where we'll take action. And I never thought of it in the sense that it's almost like a positive and a negative. Either you can go with it positively, or you can take the negative approach to it and let it stop you. Of course, I've never had that, because whenever I'm challenged or really anything put forth, I come through with positive. I'm always positive about everything, because I have this belief that everything is always going to work out. It's always going to be okay. So that's really cool. I mean, this is really great. I'm glad that we're having this conversation about it. And I hope the audience hears it, because they can change their lives.
Very much so. And it's quite profound how your life could change. And I've spent the last 32 years really looking at cause and effect from these types of experiments, if you will. I've been experimenting for the better part of, over 3 decades now with cause and effect of subconscious programming. So I'll give you an example. The program that you have adopted, that I hear dominantly in your expression right now, is that everything works out for you. That happens to be one of the ones that I recommend for all of our members in our program and our process, because it is such a powerful one that goes completely across the board, covers everything in your life. You can also take these types of this focus and these programs and be a lot more specific in dialing it down at a more granular level in your life. So you can use it to improve any different area of your life, or to attract different experiences into your life. The reality is we are all in control of our own experience all the time. We are always experiencing what we are attracting. That's 100%. The question is, what's the origin of the program that's causing the attraction of specific things into our lives? And the origin is those beliefs of when we were children. Now, the good news about that is there are ways of changing that. For most people, they will live their whole lives and never even realize that they can change that. But I'm here to give some happy news, and that is it's very easy to change these things. We've just not been taught how to do it. So I'm going to show you or explain to you a process that I've been using for the last 32 years that has made profound effects in my life and many, many other people. It's a process of writing that you do, and you do it in a certain way at a certain time. And what happens is whatever ideas you're putting into, I call them power declarations, because this is the format I use. Whatever you put into those power declarations and that you write in a certain way at a certain time is going to go right into your subconscious mind, and it's going to overwrite and give your subconscious mind a new program to adopt. Now, sometimes if there are deep-seated programs, there may be multiple layers of things coming up. So you might do something and see results, and then you might see something else come up, and then you can take it to another level and go a little bit deeper. And you can cover it from different angles, if you will, if there's a particular topic that you would like to focus on. Simply by writing these just before the time is, there's a window of time when the subconscious mind is the most receptive. So there's what we call the critical mind, or the critical factor. And this is the part of the mind that blocks anything new from going into the subconscious mind. It's a protective mechanism. It's important and it's helpful. However, it's without upgrading what it's putting in, it's just protecting old stuff that's not necessarily to our most benefit. Okay. But the fact that it's there is a good thing. And what we do is we handwrite in cursive just before you go to sleep, within 30 minutes of going to sleep, preferably the last thing of going to sleep, exactly what it is you'd like to experience in the present tense, as though it already exists, and in the positive. Okay, and what happens is this is going to go into the subconscious mind, and as you go through the different dream phases of your sleep, your subconscious is going to go over that, review that information. It's going to process that information. It's going to put together all the possible ways that it can align these things for you. And it's going to use all of its amazing abilities and faculties to bring together this reality. And by the time you wake up, you're already in alignment with that new reality. As long as you don't block things from showing up and really persistently block them, they'll just show up automatically. And I do this all the time. Many people that I've shared this with have the same experience. They write something before they go to sleep, and the next day it happens.
Wow. I mean, it's powerful.
The need to have closure in any given situation is sheer human nature. And when it comes to romantic relationships, this desire skyrockets. Has your previously failed relationship left you in immense pain? It's not uncommon for people to shy away from a new relationship after their first one fails miserably. The fear of the unknown makes them hide in a shell to prevent any future heartbreak. Relatable? Despite wanting to love and be loved, you can't take the plunge if your mind and heart are still locked somewhere in the past. Maybe you aren't aware of the power of releasing the past, or perhaps you don't know how to do it. Art Costello in his online course teaches the art of moving on from bad places to happier, more stable ones. This course can change your life for good, helping you beat all kinds of negativity on the road to eternal bliss. Sign up now before the gloominess gets the better of you at expectationacademy.com.
What if the person doesn't, and I'm going to get real personal. What if this guy, me, I never remember my dreams and all that, but I'm big on writing things down, because the 3 tenets of expectation therapy are identify, clarify, and then solidify with a written plan. And that's what expectation's 3 tenets are. So I'm big about writing things down. I never have thought about writing them down before I sleep, though I do wake up at night and write things down. I do write things in the shower, because I get these shower epiphanies. And, I do. So I'm not adverse to writing down. Does it work with just about anything that you're desiring? I mean, It's funny that I'm having a conversation with somebody right now because I have this thing about money. I have an aversion to money. And, I've by far given more away in my life than I've ever charged for. And I was told that I need to stop doing that, and that I need to work on it. And I'm wondering if this will help me work on it.
Well, absolutely. That's one of the easiest things of all, as a matter of fact, because it's so easy to measure. We have people that come into our program and I've created a new technology that is accelerating this process rapidly, dramatically. And we've actually had people watch this Mind Flavors technology in 4.5 minutes and the same day attract a big check out of the blue. Quite regularly, this type of thing is happening. But I'd like to talk about what's really happening here, because all of this stuff can seem like magic. And it's exciting from that perspective. It's exciting to think, oh, wow, I can use my pen and wave my magic wand and create a new experience for myself. And who wouldn't get excited about that? It does kind of seem like magic, but there's nothing magical about it when it comes to what's happening. It's very scientific, almost predictable in many ways, very predictable in many ways. And what we're doing is we're changing what we are broadcasting out into the world. And we are so powerful. What most people don't realize, because we haven't been taught this, what we're unaware of mostly is that everything that we're experiencing is our own creation, whether it's hard or easy, whether we're rich or anything else. All of those things are our own creation. Now, what's happening is it's not with our conscious mind. That's the difference. That's the part. If you can really get this part, this is where the gold is. The conscious mind, of course, we have all these desires and things that we'd like to do, and we put forth our willpower to make that happen. But that's at best about 5% of our power. The rest is our subconscious mind. And the subconscious is running on whatever program was written when we were a child, when we were growing up, when we were experiencing all those things that we hadn't experienced before. And we were making interpretations and evaluating how the world was. And those impressions are then what affect the way our day-to-day experience, how it unfolds. Now, the good news from all that is with this new approach of living from the inside out, you can go in there and you can change that. And you find that those same energies of yours that might have been that were going counterproductive in the area of money, for example, suddenly they're not only not working against you, but you can get them to work for you. And that's why it seems like magic, because all of a sudden stuff pops out of the blue, because now you're not using these tremendous powers to block the natural flow of things, and you're allowing it to come in. You don't even have to attract it in order for it to come in. For most people, they just got to stop blocking it. And the way that they're blocking it is somewhere when they were young, someone taught them, or they decided at some point, oh, this is the way it is. That's how money is. Whether it was a feeling, it could have come from someone else, or it could have come from inside. All that matters is it gets imprinted in the subconscious, and then everything is affected from that.
How do you explain then somebody who has had money, loses it, wants to regain it, and, it seems to be having these distractions or subconscious blockages? Is there a way to explain that?
Absolutely. When I talked about earlier, you asked me how I kind of started out with all of this stuff. And I talked about how I was able to succeed even in the business world, but it was like hammering things into place. And with a lot of effort, I could keep those things into place. But that's the equivalent of making more money than my blueprint is I believe I deserve, and then having to maintain it being over the level of what I believe I deserve. So that's why things keep going. Things will always reset back to whatever that subconscious program is, even if you might maybe use your willpower, and really, which is the hard way to do things. And I was good at doing that, but it was exhausting. And when I realized that I could use I could take that same energy and a fraction of that energy and program my subconscious to do the work. And then I just kick back and relax and have fun and live my life. And I don't have to plan things. I just go with the flow, and everything just shows up naturally because I've already programmed it, and my subconscious is doing all the work.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I mean, it's really awesome. And it explains why so many people struggle.
That's exactly right.
They struggle struggle because they're not going with the flow of their subconscious. They're trying to fight it all the time. It's like this war of the soul. You think you deserve things, but yet you're subconsciously subverting them.
Exactly. I had a friend once, he had a subconscious belief that he didn't think it was good for him to make more money than his dad. And this was many years ago. And back then, his dad hadn't made over $20,000. That was an invisible barrier. He kept bumping into that wall. He couldn't make over $20,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, today, he's completely different because he understands how to program his mind, and he's completely opened up that whole world.
Wow.
Has anyone ever inspired you to discover a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled you? It is a magical experience, isn't it? Inspiration is indeed very powerful, yet it's often undermined. It can lift you from the ground to the sky in no time. Have you ever thought about returning the favor by inspiring the people around you? If you don't think you have it in you, we have good news for you. Art Costello's online course has everything you need to learn to supercharge yourself and shape your character into a powerful personality. Get ready to discover your strengths and unleash the creativity within. Don't believe it? Check it out yourself by signing up for this life-changing course at expectationacademy.com. That's expectationacademy.com.
Is there a correlation with what you do and quantum physics?
Yes, it's all in the realm of quantum physics, and pretty much so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all in that.
Because when I spoke at Harvard and I had somebody come up to me who was very influential in astrophysics and quantum physics, and they said to me that they had never ran into anybody who had actually lived out the cycle. And they said at 9 years old, when I went up to the top of that hill, I put out vibrations into the universe. And I've lived these 72 years living that cycle almost in a complete circle. I haven't completed it yet because I won't until I'm gone, I guess, But they said that it's so rare for them to see anybody who has actually got as far along in the process as I have and been so in tune to it. People do it, but they're not in tune to it. They don't know what they're doing, but I've been in tune to it. And I was wondering if you've studied quantum physics or if you've studied astrophysics or any of those things to help you with this, because I believe that you don't have to, because I believe that if you manifest it, like you said, and you work towards achieving it, it will happen. It always does. It just works the way it's supposed to.
Yes, I love that. And absolutely, the answer is you don't have to know anything about quantum physics or any of that stuff. All you have to have is a pen and a piece of paper, an intention, and put the three together and do it in the right way, and you can see a new experience, a new outcome. Mm-hmm. Quantum physics can explain a lot of what is happening, but it's not necessary to even understand that. I mean, most people don't understand electricity when they flip the light switch. They just know that they flip the light switch and light comes on. So it's the same thing here with your subconscious. I've spent the last number of years figuring out, well, if I program this, what's it going to look like when it shows up? So I've done thousands and thousands of experiments, programming my mind and creating programming for other people to experiment with as well. And it's pretty amazing the things that you can create in your world. And your own behavior is the quickest thing you can change, and what you attract and your relationships with other people, your interactions with other people. No matter what you're experiencing in any interaction with anyone in your life, you can turn things around literally overnight.
Wow. I mean, you're reiterating what I believe. You put it into a whole different realm for me that is, I guess you're making it more comprehensible and understandable. I think a lot of what you've said, but I've not espoused it. And, I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. I mean,
I think I get what you're saying, that you understand it, you feel it, you know it. And I've put it into terms now that are a little easier to break it down and understand the kind of the mechanics of it. Would that be?
Yeah, that is accurate. And what comes to my mind is, Oprah Winfrey has done work with manifestation, that you can manifest things by having a board, what do they call it? A
vision board.
A vision board and all of those things. This takes it a little bit further than a vision board. This takes it deeper. This is more when you're dealing with your subconscious mind and reprogramming your subconscious mind, probably way more effective, because people put up vision boards and a couple of days later they look at it and say, oh yeah, there's my vision, and blah blah blah, and I'm working toward it. But when you work with your subconscious mind is probably the most powerful tool that we have.
I would agree with you.
And when we work with it and can alter it into manifesting what we want, that is extremely powerful. Can you give us any examples? I know you've given us some, and I'm not asking examples as far as people are concerned, but areas of their lives, relationships. Can you alter relationships with it? We've talked about the money part of it. I mean, can you manifest in your mind, in your subconscious, anything, everything?
Yes.
Okay. Before you go, I got to stop you. I got to tell you what my mantra is. And I have lived with this for years and years and years. When people ask me about stuff and we're talking about possibility, my mantra is, I believe in the possibility of everything. I believe everything is possible when you believe it is possible. And that is probably the single biggest belief that I've had that has gotten me through all kinds of things.
So you're an example of someone who has naturally aligned with some specific beliefs that are really broad beliefs for your highest good. Some program somewhere either shifted, or you already had it in you that you believed you deserved to show up in this way. And I believe that you had a profound experience at age 9, and I believe that was a big shift that happened for you.
I can identify. I'm actually 9 when I was so abandoned, alone, and feeling so lost and lonely and no direction in my life. And then Vietnam, when it really triggered in me the preciousness of life and how fragile it is, and how the past and the present, or the past and the future, really don't count. It's the present that really matters. And then in 2006, when my wife of 38 years passed away from ovarian cancer, and I felt that abandonment again and tried to have to figure out life again, because to that point I had a fair amount of assets that we were working on comfortably retiring, and medical bills ate up everything. I mean, and I have to start over again. So 13 years ago, I started over again. I've tried to rebuild a life, and through that process is how I've created what I have now. I mean, I'm remarried. I'm married to a wonderful woman who is the biggest blessing in my life. There's just so many things I'm thankful for, and I think that those things are more important than any money that I'll ever have. So
Sure.
So that's kind of where I'm at. If we can use me an example, and you can dissect me, slice me, dice me.
And I would love to say, and you can have money too. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because we've all had a lot of conditioning about money, and most of it is pretty much nonsense. Money is energy, and it's an exchange, and it's flow. And it's something that we can all have fluid in our lives and free flowing in our lives. So the only reason why we wouldn't is because of beliefs that would block that. So that's one area where you can easily work with and shift things. I'm not kidding, overnight you can see things start changing. Relationships. Now, I recommend broadcasting love and light and good energy to everyone. And what you'll find is when you simply program yourself to broadcast those things to other people, wait till you see how other people start responding to you. It's going to blow your mind. I'm not kidding you. You're going to say, wow, how is this possible? How is this happening? And the truth is, they've only been responding in the way that you've been allowing them to respond on an unconscious level, not your conscious mind, but unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind, remember, it's below your level of consciousness. So if we identify with our conscious mind with the subconscious, it has nothing to do with the subconscious. The subconscious is a different part of us that's pretty much running the show. So we can change relationships. We can change career situations. We have someone just recently in our program that went from feeling like she was not being promoted at work to suddenly everyone is recognizing her, and it's completely changed. These things can shift very, very quickly. When it comes to human interactions, those are the fastest things where you can see results from, just like that with this.
Well, I think that if the word godsend ever came, you are a godsend to many, many people, because there's many, many people who need to shift to believing that they are worthy and that they can have these things. And that alters the world. When you get that out there and you get that belief system going in people and they trust their subconscious. I don't even know. Can you trust your subconscious, or do you trust your conscious and just let your subconscious work?
Well, what I like to do is program my subconscious to follow my highest good.
Mm-hmm.
And then this way I just trust in my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Your feelings really are your guide. When you're feeling good, that means what you're thinking about is a prosperous, productive, positive thing. If you're feeling not so good, it means that what you're thinking about is going to take you in a direction that's not going to make you feel good. So stop thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But back to what you're really saying here is what you're really talking about here again is the same thing I've been talking about before. And that is the subconscious mind is a different part of us. It doesn't think. It doesn't reason. It's like your computer hardware. It just takes commands and it executes the commands. So if you think about it like that, I like to tell people to, think about it like your subconscious is a team of professionals and you're the executive of the team. And when you tell your team what to do, you just write the order and you give it to the team and the team takes care of the rest. And that's exactly how to treat your subconscious mind. And then you trust, living from the inside out, you know that if you programmed that I'm in the right place at the right time, that even if you show up somewhere and it's 5 minutes after the clock hour, you don't immediately go into, oh, I'm late. You say, I'm in the right place at the right time. And you'll find that usually that other person is also running on that same schedule and they show up at the exact same time. And that's really kind of how this all works. It's all about alignment. And we can align ourselves to experience any type of experience that we can imagine.
Don't know which direction you want your life to take? Are you sinking deep down into the pit of uncertainties day by day? So, what's the secret to leading a happy, satisfied life? It's taking matters into your own hands. But what if the matters in question are a total blur? Art Costello's Expectation Academy course aims to tell you exactly how you can get some clarity in your life. This course can be your savior on your journey to reinventing yourself. While you certainly can't plan your whole future ahead, you can definitely control twists and turns your life takes. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for this course now at expectationacademy.com. Get a chance to broaden your horizons and add meaning to your life. That's expectationacademy.com.
I've got an odd question for you, but I'm sure you've heard it before. When somebody has strong religious beliefs, how do you process your program with them?
It's a great question. And the underlying truth of it is they're 100% parallel when you distill them down into the essence of what they are. Okay. A prayer is exactly what an affirmation is, and we're connecting with the divine. It's all the same thing. It's just different terminology. And what's also different is that what we're doing here is we're using our own abilities to strengthen ourselves and improve ourselves. And every bit of that, from my perspective, is in alignment with all that is, with all that's good, with the divine, and with our highest good, even as a collective.
Yeah, and I know you personally, and I know that you're a man of integrity and a man that is really concerned about goodness in this world, love and compassion and all that. So, I don't have a problem with any of it, but I could see where some people could really get threatened But then again, it's when you believe in the possibility of everything, and sometimes I think, isn't that what God really wants us to do?
Absolutely.
To believe in the possibility of everything, because he made everything possible.
That's right.
So, I guess I answered my own darn question. I have this terrible problem about answering my own stuff. But it's really been great. I mean, we're going to wrap it up here pretty quick. We're hit the mark, but I wanted to give you plenty of time to give us all the information where people can get in touch with you, how, when, where, and all that. Any parting thoughts that you have. And, you can do that over the next 5-10 minutes, however long you want to take.
Okay, I appreciate that. I would like to say that, you mentioned something earlier, and I'd like to just follow up with that. And that is that this is life-changing, what I'm talking about here, what we're talking about here. And my dream is to free humanity from limited thinking. And through this writing process and through the new technology that I've invented and developed, it's actually happening. We're seeing it happening on a daily basis. It's amazing, and everybody deserves to experience it. So if you would like to experience the manual way, which is the writing process, you can actually download my free ebook at mindflavors.com/ebook. So it's mindflavors.com/ebook. And you can download the ebook. It's an ebook that explains to you the entire writing process and gives you templates, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you can just plug in and start seeing results literally starting tonight. You can start programming literally tonight and pay attention to what you notice happening the following day when you do that. And if you would like to, I know we haven't had a chance to talk too much about the new technology, but if you would like to experience the new technology, we do offer private screenings. And if you go to mindflavors.com/VIP, you can schedule an appointment with us to experience a private screening of this new technology.
That is awesome. I mean, why not? I mean, why would you not want to do this? If you're in the audience and you've been limited or bound by your own thinking, this is something that you can really change your life with. And I'm so thankful, Carl, that we had you on, and I appreciate it, and the audience appreciates it, and I'm sure. You know what I'm doing? I can't wait to try to do some of this stuff, because I believe in it. I believe that it's possible, and I believe that anything and everything is possible when we believe. So.
Well, I think it might be kind of fun if you'd like to do it, Art. After the show, we can set a time and have you experience the new technology, and then maybe we could do another follow-up show and we could talk about that again.
Absolutely. I'm in on that. We'll have to work out the times and details, but everybody get ready, because, man, Carl just gave me a gift and I am going to take it. So yes, I am. With that being said, let's close this branch down, but everybody look out for what's coming. It's coming. I'm telling you, this is going to be exciting. So with that being said, everybody knows where they can get a hold of me, Art at expectationtherapy.com. Expectationtherapy.com is our website. We are here to help you. Carl's here to help you. We love you. And Heather White, go ahead and take us out of here.
Thanks for listening to the show. Drop us your comments and questions with what you want answered on the show. You can subscribe on iTunes and Binge Network. You can also get more information on the website, expectationtherapy.com.